Ya.
¿Pero empezaste a grabar?
¿No quieres que grabe?
Sí, pues.
¿Está grabando?
Tan rápido, se prendió y ya estaba mirando.
We're standing by the turnstile, so if it's a problem, we'll walk up, but we saw it.
Ya estamos dentro y igual hay gente, no al nivel de los parques que fuimos, pero deben haber unas 300, 400 personas que trataron de entrar ahora a las 9 de la mañana y esto atiende aproximadamente hasta las 5 de la tarde, no es hasta tan tarde. ¿Ya? Vamos a ir a ver qué encontramos más adelante. Ya, Journey to Mars. Entonces tenemos que ubicarnos.
¿No que ya en el 14 de la Florida?
Sí, pues lo mismo. Pues. Después cuando nos vayamos le decimos a tu mamá que nos pase a buscar ahí el 14.
No, porque se va fue a la parcela.
Ah, ya. Le decimos a tu papá entonces. Ya, aquí estamos, mira. Ahí estamos. Vamos a volver hacia allá. Y Journey to Mars es el número 2. Mira. ¿Qué te parece?
Bacán.
Inside, ice and dinners.
They're probably going to get in quite a lot of trouble when they come back down. But up there is actually no atmosphere between the animosity between the two countries up there. If you've never seen the International Space Station, if you go into Google and type in "See International Space Station," you can put in your postcode, your zip code, and it'll tell you the next time it's actually going to be.
Vamos a ver si podemos hacer el bus tour, que es el más complejo. Acá está todo junto, pero ese es el que nos lleva a los reales que están en lanzamiento ahora. Veamos qué nos encontramos.
Yeah, hit them. Come back and take off.
Bus boarding
9:30.
9:30. ¿Querés?
9:27.
Vamos. Eso. Morning.
Mira la niña.
Beautiful commander. Beautiful commander. Acá no estamos tan preparados sobre las atracciones que existen. Vamos a tratar de disfrutar lo que venga. Cuando lo vi esto por internet decían que esta atracción por el tiempo podía no siempre estar, que es una de las mejores. Y esa es hacer un tour en bus que dura cerca de 40 minutos para que nos lleven a donde están realmente los cohetes que están funcionando. Y lo estamos tomando ahora, hay poca espera, estamos hablando de unos 20 y bueno, hasta ahí la gente siempre se pasa a la línea, ¿ya? Así que eso. Sí. No me quedé así como plop, esto amor. para contarte lo único que pongo en la historia, cuando yo lo revisé dijeron, puede ser que cuando tú vengas el tour de bus no esté disponible. Porque a veces por seguridad o por because reasons no se hace. Pero lo vamos a hacer. Mira.
Roadside, especially down the waterways, you might get a chance to spot some wildlife out here. Maybe even an alligator or two along the way as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen.
We have pondered our place amongst the stars since the dawn of humankind. We've looked at the stars with wonder and amazement, their glow guiding our travel for centuries. The more we learn about our universe, the more questions we have.
I'm Emily Calandrelli, and today you'll be following me behind the gates on this exclusive bus tour of Kennedy Space Center. Our journey will take us past active facilities and end at the visitor complex's own Apollo Saturn rocket. It represents NASA's earliest efforts to send humans into space. These Redstone rockets were formerly ballistic missiles provided to NASA by the U.S. Army. In October of 1958, NASA formally organized Project Mercury with the mission to investigate man's reaction to the
rocket. You can relive the experience of Neil Armstrong's historic landing and first step from the moon. As you enter, please move all the way to the front of the theater to make room for the guests behind you. Our presentation will begin shortly. For the comfort, safety, and viewing pleasure of all our guests, we ask that you silence cell phones and refrain from flash photography for the duration of our presentation. Please note that this is a no-smoking facility. If you must leave the theater during the presentation, please use the exit door located behind you at the rear of the theater. Thank you. And now, it is with great pride that we present the story of NASA's Apollo program, the greatest adventure mankind has ever undertaken.
When I was a kid, I used to dream about flying through space. Every week on TV, I'd watch my heroes as they jumped into their rocket ships and took to the stars. And I wanted to be like them.
He had 12 years before that rocket ever left the ground. And it started on the other side of the world.
Back then, we were one of two superpowers that always seemed to be on the edge of a terrible nuclear beat. People were afraid. Were the Soviets looking down on us? Watching us? If they could make a satellite pass over our cities, could they do the same with a bomb? Our own space program kicked into high gear, and less than 2 months later, we were ready to launch our own satellite. We had our own astronauts, and they were eager and ready to take the big ride. But our manned space program couldn't seem to get off the ground.
Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
But step by step, mission by mission, we orbited the Earth, perfecting the skills and technologies we would need on this incredible journey. Our astronauts practiced maneuvering, docking, and the 1,000 other tasks that would comprise the moon mission. It was January 27th, 1967. Astronauts Virgil Gus Grissom, Edward White, and Roger Chaffee were on board Apollo 1 for a plugs-out test, a full-scale dress rehearsal for the actual launch. Suddenly it happened. There was a fire in the capsule. 3 men whose lives had been in our hands were lost. But we owed it to those men to learn from their sacrifice and to carry on. We started taking the Apollo vehicle apart piece by piece. Was the design flawed? Had safety been compromised? Tough questions. And we spent 1.5 years redesigning the spacecraft so that no astronaut's life would ever be at risk because we overlooked something or because we could have done something better. Now was the time that we could. Now was the time that we would. We stood on the eve of the longest, most dangerous journey that any man had ever undertaken. And it would be taken by Frank Borman, James Lovell, and William Anders, the crew of Apollo 8. Through those doors, you'll find the firing room, launch control, just as it was on December 21st, 1968.
Please gather all of your belongings, take small children by the hand, and proceed through the open doors to firing room number 1. All strollers, wheelchair guests, and hearing impaired guests. Please be seated in the front row.
Send 3 men to the moon and back. I'll repeat that. To send 3 men to the moon and back.
Vamos caminando para allá, ¿lo vemos? A lo mejor allá está más claro.
Una vez la que vale, entonces tengo que prenderla en esta posición para que entienda que la estabilización
¿Y ahora
es
sí?
hacerla en esta posición.
¿Y ahora sí está apuntando?
Please proceed to nose end of the Saturn V rocket. Thank you.
Te hacen una presentación en donde te muestran el primer vuelo del Apolo y aquí estamos, aquí está en escala, aquí está en la realidad. Muy bonito.
Back down to oxygen and nitrogen and phosphorus.
Emocionante igual. Mira eso.